Are you in there, little fetus? In 9 months, will you greet us? I will buy you some Adidas. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am a little bit behind on my updates. I think I left off on 10 and 11 weeks, so I'm gonna pick up with my 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th week. I'm very far behind. I'm 16 weeks now, but I do want to still upload these updates because I know they can help other people who are around the same time as me in their pregnancy, but also I want to be able to go back and watch these with future pregnancies. So that's why they will have a permanent spot on my channel, whether they're on time or late, you know, it is what it is. So I'm just gonna get comfy, you get comfy, and let's just talk about my pregnancy like I'm sitting there chit-chatting with a friend. So the beginning of week 12 was really, really hard for me. That's when I had kind of like hit my peak with nausea and I had enough. So like the day I turned 12 weeks, I called my OB-GYN and I basically asked like what they could prescribe for me for nausea. So I don't know why I like waited so long because I started feeling pretty miserable with nausea at 8 weeks. So that's 4 weeks of like constant nausea. And it wasn't just morning sickness, throw up and be done. It was like all freaking day. It's like that feeling when you're like, you know you're gonna throw up, you go to the toilet and you're leaning over the toilet waiting to throw up, and you feel it, like it's coming, you have a watery mouth, you're like breaking it in a little sweat. So it was that feeling right before you puke all day long, which it blows my mind. Like you hear about morning sickness, or even like evening sickness, but the whole all day sickness really threw me for a loop. So I was like, you know what, why am I holding off on getting help from my doctor for this nausea? Like, it's been 4 weeks. I've got to feel better. Like I need relief. It was starting to like get to my head, you know, because it was constant. So I called my doctor and they prescribed me promethazine. So I had 2 options between Zofran and promethazine. They did, like, for some reason, they were like, so with Zofran, your doctor likes to let the patients know that very, very small studies have shown that babies can have heart defects while the mom is on Zofran. But she said the studies are just so small and inconsistent that we still prescribe Zofran, and there's so many women that take Zofran their entire pregnancies and have very healthy babies and wonderful pregnancies, because that's just what they need to do. And then she said your other option is promethazine, and she said the only thing that I can tell you about promethazine is it's gonna take the nausea away, but it's gonna make you really, really sleepy. So I was like, okay, well, let's start with the promethazine. And she was like, yeah, we'll start with the promethazine, and if you can't handle like the sleepiness, grogginess, or you're like at a stage in your life where you can't nap during the day, then just call us and we'll give you Zofran. So I picked up the promethazine, and I don't know if I was just so like sick that I didn't get drowsy with the promethazine, which is crazy because everyone I've talked to said it makes them sleep like crazy. I don't know if I was just so far gone, like sick and nauseous, that I took the promethazine and it just made me feel normal. Like I wasn't tired, the nausea would just go away. So I was like, okay, this is working for me. This is good. So I have the promethazine. Week 12, I was taking it exactly every 4 hours, and I needed that. I would watch the clock and be ready to take my next one, because if it wore off, it was like my nausea would come back with a vengeance. So I took it every 4 hours in my 12th week. I also was a little bit stuffy and congested in my 12th week, but since then it's been a lot better. So on my 13th week, we actually, like, I think 2 days after, no, actually 1 day after I turned 13 weeks, we went to Florida. We went on a little trip. We rented an RV because I feel like that was just the safest option. And we've always wanted to try like the RV thing, Matt and I, because when we have kids, like we've always dreamed about having our own little camper, not an RV, a camper that you pull behind a truck. So we rented a camper on RVshare.com. It was $100 a day and like the nicest camper ever. So glad we did it. So we actually drove from Texas to Miramar Beach, Florida, which was absolutely beautiful. I felt like I mean, if you see the pictures on my Instagram, it looked like the Caribbean. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was beautiful, and I didn't have to leave the States because that's not gonna happen while pregnant. So that was just really, really nice, much needed. We did stop in New Orleans like the first night to break up the trip, and then the second leg of the trip was driving to Miramar, Florida. And it was so nice. And I highly, like, if you're thinking about going to Florida but you're worried about like the crowds, coronavirus, stuff like that, I do highly recommend Miramar. It's about maybe 20 minutes, 15 miles from Destin. And it was night and day from Destin. It felt so like exclusive. It was like not a bunch of tourists, it wasn't like crawling with tourists and people. It was like an older crowd. It wasn't like the young party crowd. It was just exactly what we needed. I felt so comfortable and safe in Miramar, and I didn't realize that until we drove into Destin on our last night there. Matt wanted to take me to this restaurant that Destin is like really known for and famous for. It was just like a 15-20 minute drive, so we went to dinner in Destin, and as soon as we entered Destin, it was crawling with people. Like a lot of like I'm young, so I don't know why I'm saying that, but like, you know, like ready to party people, and just tons of people, tons of tourists. And Destin is a touristy spot. And I felt so uncomfortable, and like when we were waiting for a table at dinner, there were just people all around us. Also, I will tell you, in Florida, they do not wear masks, which is really weird. But I guess that's kind of to be expected in a very conservative state like Florida, but which I was wearing my mask, so I mean, I felt fine. We really were never around people until that last night at dinner. Everything was good there. We were safe, wearing a mask, washing our hands. I just didn't feel unsafe ever, especially in Miramar. So highly recommend that. Sorry I went on that tangent. But I did turn 14 weeks while we were there. And also while we were there, I didn't know if my nausea was starting to go away, or if it's because I was out of my house, like out of my element on the trip, that I didn't need my nausea medicine as much. I think I took it maybe 3 times while we were there. We were there for a week, so I didn't need it as much. I felt pretty good, and I was really bloated on the trip, which wasn't fun in a bathing suit because I didn't look like fully pregnant, but it was like a really bloated week for me. But other than that, it was pretty good. Like, the trip was exactly what I needed. Oh my God, I thought I deleted my whole pregnancy freaking note with like everything on there. So then I turned 14 weeks in Florida. I turned over every Wednesday, and then we went home on the Friday. So I turned 14 weeks in Florida, and I put definitely gaining weight, waistline is growing, which maybe, but I was so bloated. Like, I feel like I was bigger in Florida than I am now at 16 weeks. Like, for some reason that was a really bad bloating week for me, but it also could have been that we were traveling and like I was not eating like I eat at home. If I needed a snack or something, we would like stop at like Buc-ee's, and I would get like kettle chips or something, and I'm not used to like eating stuff like that. So it was probably just like all the salt and stuff that was bloating me. We like went out to dinners, and we went and ate in NOLA, so that could definitely do it. And then I also experienced swollen feet for the first time, which is weird because I wasn't big pregnant at the time. I was only 14 weeks, and I think I have a picture of my swollen feet that I'll insert here. It freaked me out, and I know that that's gonna be like, you know, what's happening all the 3rd trimester usually, but we were walking a lot, like to dinner and to shops and stuff one of the days, and I just like looked down. Well, I felt like the pressure in my feet, and then I looked down and I was like, oh, holy crap, my feet are swollen. Like, what in the world? And I think that could have been like a combination of like the salty foods. It was so freaking hot and humid in Florida, and just walking like all the time that I hadn't really been used to. So I experienced swollen feet. That freaked me out like big time. And then something else is I had chocolate, and I ate the whole thing. And I don't usually eat like chocolate or like sugary foods. I'm not really a chocolate person. I'd rather have like sour candy. But I had chocolate, and I swear I felt like so many flutters. So I had chocolate, and I swear I felt my first flutter when I was laying down to go to sleep. I noticed whenever I'm laying down still is whenever I can notice stuff like that. And I swore after I had that chocolate, I felt my first flutter, but it wasn't consistent, so I couldn't really say. I do remember that week 14 when we were sleeping in the RV was the first time that I started to feel like super connected to the baby while I was sleeping. I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but like while I'm sleeping, I feel so connected to him. Like sometimes I swear I can feel him whenever I sleep. And I don't know if it's like dreaming or if it's real. Sometimes in my sleep when I'm like halfway asleep, just kind of like in that weird sleepiness, I'll like reach down and feel my belly, and it'll feel like really, really hard, like a baby bump. And I'm like, am I dreaming? And I think I am dreaming, because when I wake up in the morning, it's pretty normal. So I just noticed and felt like I felt so connected to him while I sleep. And I still have been doing that now. I touch my belly a lot when I sleep, and as soon as I wake up, I touch my belly, and I don't do that during the day at all. So I felt super connected to him starting week 14 in my sleep, and that's continued. And then week 15, I just put, again, bloated or bump. I don't know. And then I started to get heartburn at night. I've had heartburn before, but it's not consistent. So it has to be something that I'm eating, like spicy food or something. But I do have that Pink Stork heartburn tea that I drink. And then also at week 15, I went ahead and bought the at-home, sorry. I went ahead and bought the at-home heart Doppler. I got the Sonoline B baby Doppler brand. It's pretty good because most of them don't detect the baby's heartbeat until like 16 weeks. And I had just turned 15 weeks the day I got it. And we heard his heartbeat at home. It was very, very light, and it's gotten, well, I've only done it once since then because it's not recommended to do it all the time, but it's definitely like gotten stronger and louder since then, but it's pretty good Doppler. So I'm glad I have that, so anytime I have like bad days or doubts, I can use that. And then, this is so funny. So I got my ukulele at 15 weeks, and I just wanted something that I can do creatively besides like my YouTube. That's definitely like a creative outlet for me. But I was like, dude, why don't I try and learn an instrument during this pregnancy? I think that would be so cool. Even if I learned like 5 notes and like could do like a simple, just, you know, twinkle, twinkle, little star, like something would be so cute. So I got my ukulele at 15 weeks. And I tuned it and I learned 3 notes all in about like 20 minutes. And I got this on Amazon, by the way. I don't know, you're probably don't care, not in the market for a ukulele. You probably think I'm so weird. In my 15th week, I was playing the ukulele, and I was actually on my Instagram talking about the ukulele and like showing the notes that I learned because I was like really proud. And I felt my first full-on legit baby flutters when I was playing the ukulele. I guess because it's like sitting right in front of my stomach, and I was playing it and I felt the quickening, what they call quickening. It was like when the corner of your eye is like twitching, but in my uterus, and it was just like while I was playing the ukulele. So that was really cool. It just, I don't know, like I know he's just so little and young in there, but I'm like, if that's any indication of his personality, it just made me so happy, and it made me feel really connected to him. And why am I getting emotional? I don't know. Lately, I just think about him and the world we live in and stuff like that. And it's not that I don't want to, you know, say that I'm like nervous to bring a child into this world, because it is what it is. Like in a lot of ways, life is amazing. In a lot of ways, life is pretty shitty right now. But I don't think about the outside forces when I think about him. I just think about him, and I just want him to, you know, enjoy little things like mommy randomly getting a ukulele and thinking that at 29 years old I can learn how to play it. And I just want him to be just free and silly and think that he can do anything. Whenever he like started kicking when I was playing this, it just made me really, really happy, and it just made me think that he's gonna be like free and alive. And being pregnant has made me want to like be in nature, be around nature a lot, which is, I think that that's common for pregnant women to be really connected with nature and the earth and like want to be, you know, like outside and experiencing nature. But like I want him to experience that too. I don't know why this is getting so deep, but does makeup on me? No. I want him, I know there's gonna be a day where he's gonna be, you know, inside more, or he's gonna, you know, have to conform to that way of life where you just wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep. And I hope that he has a little bit in his spirit to still experience life to the fullest. I don't know why I like I've been thinking so deep about that lately, and it all starts when they're young. So I just, the whole time, like during this pregnancy, my dream for him, I've mentioned this before in my last vlog, my dream for him is just to be our little ocean baby and love the beach and the water and just be a little nature boy. And I think that that does a lot of good for a child's soul, and that carries into them as an adult. God, why did I get so emotional? Y'all are gonna think I'm so dumb. Please don't unsubscribe. Okay, so I had to change my battery, take a little break, shoot. So I've just felt really connected to him since I felt like the flutters. I also just feel intensely connected to him when I'm sleeping. I put that I've been weepy and emotional. We know, we know. And then I was less sick. It's weird because I'll be like less sick one day. Like today's been a really good day. I haven't had to take my medicine. And then the next day it's like wham, bam, like making up for all the lost time of nausea. And I really need my medicine. So it's super inconsistent, the days that I'm not feeling very good. But the days that I'm not sick, I feel really, really lucky. And I feel productive. When I say that I'm feeling lucky, I kind of like have started thinking about childbirth and like what I want that to look like. I am not a believer in having a birth plan, and I know a lot of people might not agree with that, but I'm just not a planner, and I've seen when people plan and plan too much and it doesn't happen the way that they want to, and like what good does that do for you and your soul and your happiness? Nothing. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna plan, I'm just gonna do what feels right for me and my baby. So anyways, I feel so lucky to be able to experience birth. I feel like a kid waiting to go to Disney World. Like, that's exactly how it feels whenever I think of giving birth. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go to the hospital, and I can't wait to experience it. Like, I hope while I'm pushing and his head's out, I hope I can stop and just like look at the room around me and just think like, this is happening. I'm delivering my baby. I've been laboring. My body has been getting ready for this moment. I just feel so lucky and excited to experience that. When people ask me if I'm like nervous to give birth, I'm like, no, I really am not. And I'm so stoked for it. So that's really good. Maybe that'll change like closer to me giving birth, like a few weeks before. I'm like, holy crap, it's happening. I don't know. I just feel so excited. Like it feels like I'm 8 years old and we are waiting to go to Disney World, and it's happening in February, and I just can't wait. And then the last thing, I hate to end on this note, but I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be open. I have noticed in the Facebook groups that I'm in, the mommy Facebook groups or pregnancy groups, that this has been mentioned, but maybe once. So I don't know if people don't talk about it or it's just not very common. So I mentioned, I think in my 2-week wait video, that on 4 days after transfer, I had erotic feelings in my sleep. I'm trying to like say this to not be disgusting, but it is what it is. Like my body's changing, it happens because of the rise of hormones and the blood flow, because you have increased blood flow to that area. Ever since this kid has implanted on the wall of my uterus, my alarm clock in the morning at least twice a week is a full-blown big moment, if you know what I mean, which is crazy to me because I always thought like while you're pregnant, you are the least frisky. So I don't know if that's common or uncommon. Literally, I was having a dream that I was doing my eyeshadow, and then next thing you know, I'm waking up to like the big moment happening. And I'm just like, whoa, that escalated so quickly. How did that happen? So it's just crazy. It did scare me a lot because it's out of my control, like it's happening in my sleep. It did scare me a lot before to do that because I would cramp so severely after. So that was very scary for me to be cramping like that after. Very painful. If you have had cramps after sex during pregnancy, like you know that it's extremely painful. But recently, I haven't been cramping after. So we've been good to go. I don't know why. Maybe my uterus is finally like used to having something in there, and yeah, it's been pretty good. So that is it for this update, guys. I'm sorry that it's like, you know, 3 or 4 weeks in one video, but I just wanted to, I want my key symptoms to be documented for you, but also for me. So I'm really glad that I'm making these updates, even if they're not coming out on time. Like I'm 16 weeks now, I will catch up and keep consistent with them. I'm also gonna show you a bump update. Right now, I'm 16 weeks today, so I'm gonna show you my bump. I did show you my bump at my 12th week in my last update video. Now I'm 16 weeks, so let's check out that bump. Here is the bump. We're filling out here. It's crazy because it's just really filling out. Like from my belly button to like my pubic area, it's gotten really hard, really full. This is from the front. I've always been kind of like a hip person. So yeah, I think 16 weeks is my time, y'all. I think a bump is like really coming through right around the corner. Okay guys, there you have it. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and join our village. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I'll be there if you reach out to me.